What time do you think Tim's gonna text? Oh, there we go. Never mind. Just came in.
Who San Diego's bring?
Do you guys need open locker room at all?
I don't need the locker.
One, two, three, 4, 5. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to get started with an opening statement from Coach. Then we'll turn it over to questions for the student athletes. After we've directed all the questions to student athletes, they'll be dismissed and we'll go back to Coach for questions.
Yeah, I mean, all I have to say is, I just love our guys. And I'm always thrilled when I'm able to watch them play and with the kind of effort that they gave tonight, the kind of togetherness that they exhibited tonight. So, needless to say, I'm very happy, feel very blessed to coach this particular group because, man, they're just really special, great guys.
Questions for the student athletes?
Johnny, the number that jumps off the stat sheet is the rebounding disparity. You guys must be pretty pleased with 55 to 25. Can you talk about how important that was? And you also had a 17 to 2 edge in second chance points.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big talking point that our coaches emphasize every game, and it's kind of something that we take pride in. With the size that we have on the team, you know, it's something that we really try and focus on, getting those offensive rebounds and putting ourselves in those positions to get extra points and extra opportunities. And tonight we did a pretty good job of it, as you can see. So, yeah.
Adama, on Monday you'll be playing your old pals from St. Mary's, and they beat you twice, but the second time you out-rebounded them. How important will it be to do that again and hold your own against the nation's #1 rebounding team?
Like you said, he's the nation #1 rebounding team, so it's really a focus. And, it was even on the last game, and, that's really something that we got to keep going on this. We've been getting better each game this year at rebounding, and it's going to be a big point of emphasis for the Monday game.
Johnny, they sort of forced a crazy pace. They fouled you guys a lot and forced a number of turnovers. What allowed you to sort of overcome all that and just kind of get control of the game and hold on to it?
Yeah, I think we just did a good job in the second half of, running our press break. I think the first half we got sped up a little bit, and we made the adjustments in the second half. And I think just running that and being a little bit smarter and a little bit stronger with the ball helped us kind of fight back on that disparity.
What's your confidence level for facing St. Mary's for the third time?
It's at an all-time high. I mean, I believe in everything that we've been working towards. I feel like we're in a great position right now, and I know we're all confident about playing them again, and we're excited.
Johnny, you mentioned the run that got the front line going, especially on the boards. What type of tone did Cameron Tung set, especially when he came into the game after those first few contested minutes in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, he's like a spark plug out there. We go through it every day in practice against him, and it's not the most fun. So it's always nice when he gets to go out against a different team and do it. But, I mean, there's so many, especially it doesn't really show on the stat sheet, the amount of fouls that he drew on the offensive glass was huge, and it put us into the bonus in the first half, which allowed us to get that lead and climb back into the game. So, I mean, he's tremendous at the offensive rebounding.
And then Adama, in the first matchup, San Diego did a good job of cutting off your guys' dribble penetration and your offense as a whole. What did you guys figure out over these last two matchups that worked so well, especially tonight?
I think that, we kind of moved the ball a lot. We should open up driving lanes. We had a lot of penetration tonight, which is a big point against this team, and that's how we got to draw a lot of foul on them. We put foul pressure on them, and, we got to share the ball and, drive the ball.
Any other questions for the guys? You guys are good to go.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach?
Hey, Herb, congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about the rebounding? Because it seems like that's something you've gotten better and better at this year.
Yeah, we have as a team, and we've done it, as a group. We have a commitment from everybody to try to help. We're a gang rebounding team, and certainly did a good job in that area tonight.
And how important will that be on Monday against St. Mary's?
Yeah, I mean, St. Mary's is not only, the #1 rebounding team in the country, but they're in the conversation among the toughest teams in the country. And, even though they beat us twice, we've had 2 hard-fought games against them. And, they really took it to us the first game. We were never in the game. The second game, they jumped out on us and had a big lead, and we were able to get back into it somewhat in the second half. But they're one of the better teams in the country. And, for them, I think it starts with defense and rebounding. They're hard to score against, and they rebound the ball. And offensively, they don't beat themselves. They're very patient. They do a tremendous job of reading the defense and taking what is available.
Fair to say that game is likely to look a little bit different than tonight did in terms of.
Well, one thing about college basketball, every game has its own story. It really does. And that's what makes it so exciting, right? That's why we have the moniker March Madness. And it actually happens in November, just not as many people are paying attention. There's November Madness too, I assure you. And each and every day of college basketball delivers every day, with unexpected results, with thrilling endings. It's an amazing sport. And, you can't take too much away from what happens today for tomorrow, because every game is its own novel.
Coach, like you mentioned, two hard games against St. Mary's prior. The first one, like you mentioned, just didn't have it, and the second game got down 25 before making that big run with a 5-out lineup. Is that something that you explore for this type of matchup, or is this something you work with your bread and butter of being a tall team, a physical team?
Probably the thing I need to do first is just make sure our guys know what time the game starts, because we showed up late both times we played them.
And then 20 turnovers tonight, obviously not ideal, not what you want. What more do you need to see from your guards, especially against a tough defensive team like St. Mary's?
It was all of us. To turn the ball over, you have to be in sync, you have to be in harmony, and you have to give San Diego credit. They were extremely aggressive, and they pressed us, and even when we got rebounds, they swarmed us and got their hands on balls. And needless to say, 20 turnovers is far too many, even in a high possession game like tonight was.
Hi, I'm Sam. I do KSU with Thomas. I was curious on the turnover note. On inbounding, I felt like in the last couple of games you guys have struggled with that at times. And I was curious your thoughts on maybe who you're having inbound, and then if you talk about different strategies to kind of get the ball.
Are you talking about baseline or press?
I would say mostly press, but yeah, from your own baseline and getting it across.
So when they're pressing us inbounding the ball?
Right.
Yeah, I thought for the most part tonight we did a pretty good job attacking the press, and it led to some easy baskets down the other end. Can we be better? Absolutely. Absolutely. But, you got to give San Diego credit. Our last game against San Francisco, you got to give them credit. Both teams extremely active in the backcourt. We had the lead, and they were selling out to go for the ball. And but to your point, Sam, there's no question that's something we've tried to address and have gotten better at, and still yet can be better than we were.
And then just one more. On the 0 for streaks, I found like today you did a good job not making those extended 0 for 7, 0 for 8. When in other games, I felt like you guys would go 0 for 10, 0 for 11, and maybe force some shots at times. And I was curious if you were addressing that, and then if you made any changes to improve.
Well, there's a fine balance between having your guys play with freedom and attack and have fun. And we tilt the seesaw on that side. Okay, and so every once in a while, somebody may take a shot you'd rather them not take. But rather than make an issue of it, unless it becomes a problem or a habit, I want our guys playing. We have a very up-tempo, fast-paced system. We have a fun system. Guys enjoy playing, and I don't want to have to micromanage their shot selection. Over the course of a game, the best players are probably going to take a few that you'd rather not, but you can't look at those shots in isolation, okay? Because I think sometimes if we try to micromanage shot selection, then guys become hesitant. right? They're looking over at the bench, and that's no way to play. So we trust them. Now, if it becomes an issue, you know, where a particular player or a team is settling and not playing the right way, by all means, we'll address it.
Any final questions for Coach Sendek? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. I'm just glad we're not in this second game because it's past my bedtime. Yeah, how could I forget? Or the year before that was even worse. We tipped off one game at 10-18, you know.
I remember leaving the arena at 1:15 a.m. So that was.
What's that? We left here at 1:15?
Yep.
Yeah, see?
All right, we're going to get started with an opening statement from Coach Lavin, then we'll turn it over to Kevin and Keon for questions. Once we're done with questions for the student athletes, they can be dismissed and we'll go back to Coach.
Thought Santa Clara played exceptional basketball from start to finish. They're as physical a team as we've faced this season, and we've, had some other, opponents that play a physical brand of basketball, but the Broncos, aptly, that mascot is appropriate. They are very physical, and as a result, they were able to dominate. Second chance points, I think, were 17-2, and the differential on the boards, the Broncos were plus 30, and with that aggressiveness too, it ends up leading to, getting to the foul line. The more aggressive team ends up drawing more fouls, and then as a result, there is a big separation as well from the charity stripe, as they had 35, points to our 12, so a 23-point differential. You start putting those numbers together, minus 30 in the boards, minus 15 at second chance points, and minus 23 from the free throw line. So thought our players continued to compete, which isn't easy to do, and naturally disappointed the season comes to an end. You want to, continue the journey, and really proud of this team's development, including the two gentlemen to my left. But there's some lessons to be learned, and this will be, motivation going into the off season in terms of hitting the weight room, getting stronger, and being, resolute in our determination to come back with an opportunity to be better next year. But I thought we made progress, and it was a wonderful group to take this journey with, and looking forward to continuing to, make strides as we build this program.
Questions for the student athletes?
Keon, can you talk a little bit further about just how Santa Clara kind of ruled the backboards today and how difficult that was for you guys?
They came out very aggressive. The first time we beat them, they had a lot of boards. We were minus a lot of boards. So, our coach told us to come in physical, but obviously we didn't. And, it was tough out there. It was very physical. So offensively and defensively, they were just crashing the boards. They were the more physical team. And, obviously we just need to get better at physicality. So, yeah.
Kevin, you guys caused them a lot of trouble with your pressure, 20 turnovers they had. But you also fouled a lot. Does that sort of just come with the territory, especially when you're behind, or how do you rationalize that?
Yeah, so like Keon and Coach said, like it was a physical game. So we knew we had to up the pressure. So we were pressing, trying to speed them up, and it worked out. We forced a lot of turnovers, and then us being physical led to some fouls. Also, we just try not to give up easy baskets. So yeah, it happens.
Keon, start of the second half, Coach put in an all-reserve lineup. What tone were you hoping to set out there, especially with your 3-and-1s on baseline cuts?
I wanted to bring energy. Yesterday I came in, I got like a couple deflections, and people on the bench told me like that made a difference. That got my teammates involved, and they brought their energy up. So today I just came in. I was like, whatever opportunity I get, I'm gonna go 100%. Obviously like this season I haven't got a lot of playing time because I haven't been playing hard enough. But then just learning from that. I just learned from this season to just, as long as you bring energy, that is what will earn you minutes on the court. So it was our last game out. It's win or go home, so obviously I went out there, just gave it my all. And hopefully my teammates followed in the footsteps to do the same.
And then Kevin, a stellar freshman season from you. When you reflect on year one from when you walked onto campus versus now, where do you feel like this program has made the most strides under Coach Lavin?
That's a good question. I feel like we made a lot of strides. We turned it around multiple times. Last year I think they won 11 games. So, coming in, just trying to make an immediate impact. Me and all my teammates turned that around. We won 18 games, and then 19 counting last night at Pepperdine. And then, we started off conference 0-5, I believe. Then we went on to win 6 out of 7 games, 4 games on the road. It was just a roller coaster of a season, and it was great, but we definitely turned some things around. So I would say we made strides in a lot of areas.
Any final questions for the student athletes? Thanks, guys.
Way to go, fellas.
Questions for Coach?
Yeah, Steve, I just got one for you. How do you envision the Santa Clara St. Mary's matchup on Monday?
Similar to, Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, during the, what was that, George Halas, was it? And let's see, who was the great Packer? Vince Lombardi. Yeah, so moving the chains, and physicality will be on display. Both programs have a very solid, a winning brand of basketball, and they're, patient offensively. They work in a cohesive manner to get good looks at the basket. They'll play through the paint. They attack the three-point line as well. They're really, similar in a number of respects. I think the physicality and the depth, of Santa Clara will present St. Mary's some challenges. The injury to Jefferson, I think, because of his versatility and the way he could influence the game offensively and defensively for the Gales is something that they're going to have to offset collectively, which they've done. Since he's been out, but clearly, Santa Clara plays a unique brand of basketball of every team in our conference. They're the most physical, and St. Mary's isn't far behind. San Francisco, can really, wear you out with fresh bodies and not having a drop off in terms of when they go to their bench. But Santa Clara had the opportunity to beat San Francisco twice, right? One kind of got away. And so, yeah, it'll be a rock fight, brass knuckle affair, and there'll be elements that will be reminiscent of the great Packer-Bears matchups back in the day.
Some more Hallis and Lombardi than Bill Walsh tonight, huh?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Right. True.
Just one from me. When you put in that all-reserve lineup to start at the early part of the second half, what message were you hoping to send to your starters, and how comfortable were your starters knowing that you've built that culture to, accept, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, a punishment like that?
Yeah, and we even at halftime just said, look, we're going to, keep the same starting lineup, but we've got our posse, our energy group that's on the bench, and so we'll go to them very quickly, right, if we don't see more alert, aggressive, tenacious defensive play. And we've utilized our bench all season. We don't, traditionally go the hockey sub, 5 in, 5 out, but we've used that before. And that group plays together, in practice, so they've got some chemistry. And so the advantage of when you put those 5 in is they have a better feel for one another than when sometimes you're cherry picking one sub in, kind of, gradually, getting your starters some rest by bringing in those reserves. So, and that's what is unique about this team is we have, every player that suits up I have confidence in, even though they're young. But, I don't mind going 10, 11. Tonight we went 12 deep. And that's a real strength or an asset for us. And the attitude of this group has been exceptional. And so, they are pulling for the guys that are on the court to do well. And then when they come out, then they're also rooting for the guys that go in. That's a special quality or attribute. There's a sense of otherness that is special. That's an important trait that they're really genuinely happy for other people's success, even though at this age it's natural to be focused on self. And I'm impressed with the maturity of this group, given how young we are.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.